Hey guys, how's it all going? I hope you're all doing absolutely amazing and are trading safely in the market. It's your boy VGOG and I'm finally back with another video for you guys. Now today's video is going to be a market outlook call, which is brand new to the channel. I've not really recorded and posted these on YouTube before, and it was recorded on Sunday the 4th of September, so just Sunday just gone. Now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking a look at potential zones, potential points of interest for the following week, and I'm going to try to outline any key supply and demand zones where we can look to see, those lower time frame confirmations that we like to get a look at. I'm also going to be looking at any news events to come for the week and specify, sort of which ones I expect are going to be causing those major moves in the markets, and obviously which ones to be cautious of. Now obviously I appreciate that you guys would have found this video a bit more useful had I've released it on the actual Sunday. However, I've actually reserved that privilege for those of you that are in my private mentorship group, and they actually got to see it live at the time of recording. Now obviously if that's something that interests you and you're wanting to know more about the mentorship options that I offer, then please do send me a message through Instagram. My Instagram handle is @vgok, and there's also a link for my Instagram in the description below. But with that all being said, let's jump straight into the market outlook. So I'm going to start off this market outlook by just looking at first of all US dollar JPY. So obviously let's start from the daily time frame, and we can see these previous areas over here from the supply. Price was getting pushed down, creating lower lows, and then we eventually saw this movement up. We can see that this general area has taken out this previous area of supply on the daily time frame. So first of all, what I've done here is I've marked off the obvious areas of demand. So we do have this area here. We've got that sort of drop base rally sort of area in this area that took out this previous supply zone here. We've also got this rally base rally area in here, so I've got this zone marked out in here. So obviously on a smaller time frame I've got that as a refined zone right in there. And so go down to the 4-hour time frame, we can see in more detail obviously what these zones are looking like. So this is an older zone which is still valid because obviously it's the rally, that reaccumulation in this zone here, then it rallies on higher to take out this region here. Again with that refined zone, it's this wick in here which is what I'm looking at. So off the 4-hour time frame we can see this wick, it's got that sell to buy nature. It's got that nature about it where it takes out liquidity below this sort of trend line in here, this rough sort of trend line in here. You got 1, 2, 3, 4 touches of a trend line, and then we've got that sell to buy nature, taking out the trend line liquidity, and then having a sharp move in the opposite direction right there. Just seeing this again on the 4-hour, I do quite like this rally base rally in here as another demand zone, because that is the one that really takes out, and this is the last lower high here, the last significant lower high that created the next lower low down here. So this is a really key area as well. So once price can get to these areas, we'll definitely be looking for signs of bullishness, definitely. Apart from that, we've got these lower time frame zones over here. So as I go down to the hourly zone, the hourly time frame, sorry, we can see another good example of a nice rally base rally that takes out previous supply over here. So there's no way of really knowing exactly 100% which demand zone or supply zone is going to be working out perfectly. It's just a matter of setting your alerts before the zones and then sort of just playing the reactions from the zones if they happen. So for the buy side, that's the sort of zones I'm looking at. And then as we go into the lower time frames, the 30-minute, the 15, so probably the 15 and the 5-minute we'll look at now here for the supply side. In terms of the selling, we've got this movement down here which is broken structure. The structural points that were broken, I'd say, were here, and then we've got this structural point in there as well that was broken. And as we zoom in, we can actually see there's a nice buy to sell candle, and I believe this was from the NFP move, so this crazy looking candle right here with the big wick. That was from the NFP move on last Friday. And as we look at the 5-minute time frame as well, you know, we can start to see, you know, what exactly happened in this rough area. The 3-minute is something that I quite like the look of as well in this zone. You know, we've got that drop, this redistribution of price here, and then it drops off further, breaking structure below here. Obviously with structure we like to look at the bodies of the candles. It shows the majority of the price movement within the candles. Another tip is, obviously, like I said last week, changing it to a line graph to see the structure a bit more clearly. And here we can see, obviously, the breaker structure looks a lot more clearer in this movement here. So definitely this is a valid area of supply at the moment. We just need to obviously get the confirmation. Once price gets up there, if we can get distribution in this zone, then, you know, that will be the full confirmation, and we can look to target sells in that area for UJ. And just having another look on the 1-minute time frame, we'll probably see a lot more clearer. You know, we had this trend line coming down, multiple touches of this trend line, and then we had a nice buy to sell movement, taking out any liquidity above the trend line, and then obviously seeing the drop off afterwards as well. So really nice areas there to look at for us to target, really. In terms of the sells, TPs and targets were areas where we can look for it to go to. You know, pretty much have different TPs at these different demand zones would be probably the wisest thing to do. So, you know, obviously we can have a TP1 here, TP2 as it takes out this structure, this piece of structure here maybe, you know, and so on and so forth with the other demand zones that we just sort of found. And there's a nice area of liquidity here with these equal lows as well. So let's see if we can actually get the bearishness of UJ, so bearish dollar as well. So yeah, let's have a look at DXY as well. DXY, obviously, like we just analysed on UJ, we are hoping for a bearish dollar from this break of structure, so hopefully we can analyse DXY and get that bearish movement as well. At the moment, obviously, DXY is finding a lot of strength, but it is coming up to this area here, so you can sort of look at this as a high, low, lower high, lower low. So I'd say there's definitely some sort of point of interest or something in this area that we're approaching now. Obviously it may not happen this month, it may happen, you know, in the next month or a couple months time or something, but it is approaching this supply zone, you know, at the moment over here. So yeah, it's still very far away. I wouldn't be surprised, you know, if it's still a bullish dollar taking out, making all-time highs and all this sort of stuff. It's still, you know, quite far away. But yeah, probably best to go with the continuations for now. And same on UJ, you know, it's got a very similar looking structure, so I won't be surprised if it can take this high out and get into this sort of point of interest here. For UJ, obviously we've got, you know, some degree of highs, you know, liquidity there with the buy to sell nature. It created that next lower low in here, so definitely want to see what happens with UJ in this area of supply as well. Whether it's close to being there, or, you know, it takes the liquidity out just above this high, spikes into this zone, and then we start to see the bearishness of UJ. But yeah, we'll just obviously play the reactions from each zone and play it like that. Moving on to Nasdaq. So just moving on to Nasdaq, looking at the daily time frame. I've just deleted all the previous drawings off the chart. So let's see how this is looking as well. Off first glance, this is what I see on the daily time frame. We've got this nice doji looking daily candlestick in here. You know, had that rally, base rally, takes out supply, previous supply here and previous supply here. It's obviously pushing price higher in this instance here, but price is revisiting, you know, this zone right now. So as we go down lower time frames, are we going to be able to see, you know, a clean reaction from this zone, or is it going to come deeper into the zone? Just by moving to the 4-hour time frame, I can already see some imbalances that exist in here as well. So we've got the imbalance fill over there, and we've got this imbalance fill in here which still hasn't been met. So let's see obviously what current price is. I think current price, what price did last week. You can see prices dipped into this first imbalance fill right in there. It gave a really good reaction up, big engulfing candle on the 4 hour. So let's see if it has broken any structure. It definitely has, I think. So the structure point here, that was the last significant lower high that created that lower low. So we have had a break of structure in there. It is looking like it's reacted quite strongly to some sort of supply in this area as well. The severity of that drop there, you know, that's quite an impulsive move downwards. So I won't be surprised if it does, you know, sweep this low in here. But you know, we'll look to play each of the zones, you know, as and when we see the reactions from there. So yeah, let's see. I think on the 30 minute, maybe the 15. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, so the 15 minute. Just having a look at this as well, this demand zone, just to see if this is valid. In here we got a good reaction, so obviously seeing where market opens, you know, tomorrow for the indices, you know, whether we get the breaker structure up, then that will be another confirmation, and I reckon that will be enough for us to go for, you know, bullish moves on Nasdaq. You know, it's come into the zone, it's started to give good reaction, but it all depends on whether it wants to, you know, whether the market will gap on market open, or whether it wants to continue moving up here or continue moving down here. You know, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, for Nasdaq, that's what I'm seeing at the moment. In terms of obviously the bearish side of things, we did have that this movement here, this this supply zone here, which was met last week. It's done this imbalance fill within here quite nicely, really nice reaction into the zone, and then a big aggressive drop down, which is what you want to see. So definitely I'll be looking at selling opportunities in this zone here. So best thing to do is probably set the alert for here, and once price gets there, we'll know, we'll hopefully expect a good reaction of price in this area, and you know, we could either look to hedge it if we get confirmations for both buys and sells, or you know, whichever one gives the right reaction, we'll play that. So that looks like that for Nasdaq. Looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. Moving on to GU. GU, we've just had a good reaction literally on the Friday from this supply zone. We had a degree of liquidity sitting in this zone here. You know, it wasn't exactly equal highs, but you know, there was, whatever happened here, there was liquidity, and then we had a nice buy to sell movement, which created that next lower low. Imbalance fill within the major supply zone here on the 30-minute time frame. We can actually start to see, you know, rejections from it already here, and then it closes within the zone, and then we get the full-on movement down. So just looking at this, I would say this 15-minute candle here is a very good candle. It looks quite interesting. Let's see if we can get good movements from this candle here for GU, so bearish movements on GU. So let's put an alert in for that. In terms of the bullish side of things, I don't really see much in terms of bullish. You know, it is in a major downtrend. You're going to be trading with the trend, you know, playing this continuation style of trades rather than reversals. Not saying that reversals never work, but you know, more like I'd say 9 times out of 10 the continuations will be the ones that work more. So yeah, for GU, this is what I'm sort of seeing at the moment, and obviously you know, we have just taken this low out as well, you know, in this little consolidation here. So whether we get an accumulation of price here, you know, and if you get good confirmation of accumulation here, so maybe something on the 15 or the 5-minute within this area, you know, we have had this sell to buy movement, not quite broken structure just yet. So let's see obviously how price develops. But yeah, definitely targeting sells up in this zone here. So yeah, moving on to Euro USD. Euro USD, let's have a quick look. So yeah, the daily time frame, obviously we've had this zone here marked up for a while now. Price almost came to there but didn't quite reach the desired zone, and it has dropped. Even moving to the monthly, you know, we have had this trend line coming down, and we are, you know, within this monthly demand zone over here. So I just want to see obviously whether we get that the start of an accumulation forming, because this will be a very long-term accumulation if it is, and you know, we'll look to actually get you know, a big swing position or swing style position, swing style move actually. And if it is coming, then we should be getting a measured move of this size impulse coming up. If that is, if we get the confirmation for buys in that area, that will be absolutely massive. There is another demand zone just below, so not ruling out this demand zone completely. Obviously, if price takes this first zone out, then we'll look to target buys in this zone. But at the moment, we should be looking at continuation style trades as well. So targeting sells for EU at the moment should be good. And then as I move to the 4-hour time frame, let's just get rid of that. So the 4-hour supply here is what I've marked up. We had a nice buy to sell candle in this region. I think on the hourly it may be a bit clearer. Yeah, so the hourly, we've got this last buy to sell candle in here, and price has got into there last week. And then on the 2nd of September, so that was on Friday, we did see the massive drop off in price afterwards as well. So as we sort of go into lower time frames, we can see in more detail what this distribution looked like. So for the 15-minute, we can see a really nice buy to sell, the last buy to sell candle in there, the institutional candle. So let's definitely, we will definitely want to have a look at what happens in this zone here. And again, same sort of thing. We're going to just set the alert, and we'll see obviously how that goes down. But apart from that, on the bullish side of things, there was a really nice trend line here. So liquidity below this trend line. Price comes below the trend line, takes out the liquidity, and a sharp movement up. So not ruling out a bullish move from here, but at the moment I'd like to target the sells as opposed to the buys. But that is a demand zone in there, so we should really have an alert just above there, just to see obviously how price reacts and how price moves in this zone as well. But for EU, that looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that as well. Let's have a look at GJ as well. GJ, similar sort of thing to GU really. Obviously they don't move exactly the same. They are obviously correlated, they're both pound pairs. But definitely GJ is looking good because we got that good reaction from the hourly time frame. Over here we had this liquidity of this trend line taken out, and then a sharp move down, obviously with the NFP moving price even further down. But yeah, I think apart from that, we're gonna have to look on the lower time frames for better sort of entries on this. Better zones of interest, I would say. So let's see, on the 15-minute, maybe the 30. I think the 30 minutes probably the wisest zone time frame there to go off of. Let's see the supply that I can see. I'd say this bit in here. Because obviously in this area we've had that rally, base, drop that has had a massive drop in there, and it's taken out this structure point in here, structure points over here as well. So definitely want to see the sells in that area. Of course there is a trend line as well here, so there's lots of liquidity for us to sort of have a look at. So definitely going to move this over here just so we know whether and when this trend line gets met. So that'll be interesting to see. But yeah, apart from that, these zones look pretty good, and I don't really want to see much else. Obviously we've got these higher supply zones here which price hasn't got to, so maybe we'll see a liquidity grab of this trend line, below this trend line, and then an accumulation of price for it to finally start going up, and it may meet these further supply zones which I've had marked up for a while now. And then I think we'll take a look at US 30s as well. Just because I think it was good moves as well. It's been very bearish, it's moved very well. Obviously on the daily time frame, I think this was a 3-day supply zone, so let's have a quick look at that. So yeah, nice buy to sell candle in there, price tapped it, and then it's just been rejecting ever since, since about 12th of August. So obviously let's go for those continuation style trades again. Hopefully we can look to target more sells, but it is in demand zones at the moment, so definitely want to see how price reacts in these zones. Going to the daily time frame, we can see this doji looking candle here took liquidity out below these wicks here, and then a sharp move in the opposite direction. So definitely this is a demand zone that we're going to be looking at and sort of having a look at once price gets closer. We are currently in this demand zone as well. You can see this past structure point here, previous supply, and then the move that actually took that out, I'd say, was in this movement here, because that takes out this structure point and this structure point in one. So, and we are starting to get, you know, good bullish reactions from this zone already. So let's see, obviously, when market opens, if we do get a rejection, maybe a reversal here. If we do get the reversal, get the successful break of structure, then we can actually look to sort of look for buying opportunities, I'd say, in that zone. So let's just see, obviously, where that imbalance fill is. That's what I've just marked on there, and it has just tapped it nicely and getting a good rejection at the moment on there. So let's see when market opens, let's see obviously how this reacts, whether we get that continuation up or if it would look to carry on obeying the supply. So here we had these highs in here, above those highs, little buy to sell movement in there, liquidity taken above the highs, aggressive drop downwards as well. So definitely we're not ruling out the sell side on US 30 as well, like so. So yeah, looking at this supply zone as well for the immediate supply. Obviously this 4-hour supply here looks pretty good as well from what I've marked on earlier. You know, really nice obvious buy to sell candle followed by a really clean imbalance. So it's always good to see that as well. And then I think for the last pair we'll look at EJ. We're going to look at Euro JPY as well. So from my previous analysis, I think the 2-hour supply is what I was looking at, really clean, again, buy to sell candle. We can see liquidity grab above this wick in there, so definitely whatever liquidity that was sitting above this high, it was taken out, aggressive drop down, so treat this as a nice point of interest. At the moment it's in a strong bullish trend, so let's see whether we can actually get continuation style moves for now. So maybe start of the week we'll look to target some bullish movements, and I think it's in a demand zone right now. So yeah, this last 4-hour demand zone, which price is currently in. Let's see. It's about there-ish, and I think there is so that last sell to buy candle is what I've just drawn out there. But also you could look at it in the fact of this base rally that takes out this previous supply here. Obviously the supply here pushing price down. So let's see if we get good bullish reactions here, good accumulation starting to form. Then we'll start to look for buying opportunities here. So obviously it all depends on when market opens and see how price reacts, whether we get any gaps in the market, gaps in price. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, pretty much for EJ, that's what I'm looking for as well. Alerts have been sort of set. So I'm just going to put one at this low here. So just so I know when price takes out this low here. So yeah, that's what I'm pretty much looking at for EJ. And before we sort of finish, let's have a quick look at the news for next week as well. Obviously the week we've just had, we've just had NFP, so probably one of the biggest news event of the month. And looking at next week, there's the US dollar bank holiday on Monday, so maybe avoid dollar pairs because there won't be as much volume on Monday. So maybe looking at trading more GU, GJ, any sort of pound pairs would be good. Also Canadian dollar bank holiday as well. So yeah. Apart from that, we've got obviously Aussie dollar cash rate. I don't really look at the Aussie dollar. I mainly look at the pound, the yen, and the dollar and the euro. Canadian dollar interest rates coming out on Wednesday at 3 PM. And the main one for me personally I'm be looking at is the euro interest rate. So they call it the refinancing rate. Now this is interesting because obviously the previous interest rate was 0.5%. They forecasted it to go up to 1.25%, which is massive. That is a massive increase. So definitely euro, if that is what happens, we're definitely going to see some crazy moves for the euro on Thursday as well. But yeah, I think the main sort of moves, the main news events for next week I'd be looking at would definitely be for euro. And obviously we've got the Fed Chair Powell speaking, for the dollar as well. So yeah, not as busy of a news week as last week, but definitely we'll see some nice moves, caused by these big news events for next week. So there we have that full breakdown of the pairs and the indices that I'm looking at for this week. Now again, I'll say it again, if you're someone that wants to benefit from these sorts of calls along with live trading calls before they're actually released on YouTube, then please do drop me a message on my Instagram saying mentorship and we'll discuss things further. But with that being said, if you guys enjoyed this video and found value, then please do give it a like and don't forget to subscribe if you're new around here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video for more of that trading sauce.